How's it going, family? Hope you're all doing incredible. Apologies if you hear some extra sounds in the background. It sounds like somebody's mowing their lawn. A good old Saturnday activity. Cut the grass. The question is, does the grass want to be cut? Humans are a strange species. The things we do to occupy our time. Got about 200 people in here. Welcome. Welcome to another weekend in the Matrix. Also, give this a thumbs up if you could hear me clearly. Helps a little bit with the YouTube algorithm. Let me know how y'all are doing today. Gonna say hi to a couple people. We'll start getting around to some questions as usual. Paula Rose, Dee Dee, Susie, Phoenix, Transcendence, MG, appreciate y'all. Lucas, Green-Eyed Girl, Kerry, sending love over to Ireland. Mr. Jansen, appreciate you, brother. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Bronco, it's great to have you here with us. Charlene, Dolores. All right. So YouTube notifications definitely went out. Marissa, hope you're having a great day. Sarah Lynn, hope you're doing well. Got Bronco and Maria, YouTube members. Hope you are doing incredible today. Some funny comments. Okay, we have some people from Ireland with us. That's awesome. I would love to visit Ireland. I've never visited. It's one of the few European, I don't know if it's right to call it European, but you know what I mean. It's one of the few places in Europe that I haven't been. I would love to take a trip and do like Ireland and then go over to Scotland, Wales. I've done a little bit of UK travel. Mostly just England, though. Got Holland in the house. Now there's a lot of wolves over in the Netherlands. It's amazing. It's nighttime for you guys, I believe. Island Crypto, sending you and your family lots of love. Hope you're doing amazing. Robert Jones, appreciate you, brother. Got Lithuania in the house. Wow. That's amazing. Dolores brings up the idea of liking comments or replying to comments on this chat. Yeah, Dolores, it'd be interesting if they added that function, but like there's already so many glitches with this YouTube live stream chat. It would take them so much to already just fix some of the problems that already go on. I couldn't even imagine if they added a reaction, like for you to react with emoji or with comments. I think that would just bog down the servers, because there's already just so many glitches. Like when people do the super chats, I really, really wish YouTube would fix this the super chat thing, where it would just store all the super chats and like save it under one button. So that way, whether if I'm doing this on dual screen or if I'm looking at my phone, I could just go to the super chats whenever I want, and that they wouldn't get deleted. Because that's also annoying. It's like people who leave the super chats, I want to really, you know, if they're asking a question, it's nice to kind of get into the answer, into the response, and then take a break, kind of give some more, time for other things to unfold, and then revisit some of the super chats, because some of them are really awesome. And you guys are just incredible, and you always have really, really, just really thorough questions, you know? So I appreciate the support, but also I wish that I had something that I could do about that. It's just out of my control. It's like once the super chat goes up, it's there for the moment, and I have to answer it in the queue. And then if it goes away, it goes away. And it's like YouTube does this thing where it queues all the messages after a certain amount of time. But anyways, enough about that. I hope you're all doing amazing. We got 300 people in here. Werner, appreciate you. Eleonora, appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Johnny Bobang, appreciate you, brother. Hope you're doing incredible. Hope you're still making music. Oh, somebody said it almost sounds like the sea in the background. That's really nice. That's good for you. It's not good for me, because for me it does not sound like it does not sound like the sea. It sounds like, I don't know what it is. It might be a lawnmower, or it might be a weed whacker. I don't know what the fuck is. It's something's going on that isn't natural. Like, who knows? What do I know? You wouldn't see me out there mowing grass. I don't got the energy for that shit. I just think the grass needs to do its thing. When I say energy, I'm not talking about physical energy. I mean, just couldn't imagine myself doing such a task. A's Creation, hope you're doing well. Send you lots of love. Oh yeah, Patriot Eagle, thank you. I hope you're doing well too. You said a reminder about the theory about life sentences. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, that'll be the first thing we kick things off with. But somebody asked something about price action in the market, and we'll just get that out of the way early, because we don't really want to go there with these live streams. We try to focus on things outside of the market. But just really quickly, I saw after the daily close yesterday a huge volume injection. And then a couple of people that I know, that I trust, reached out to me with some information that there was billions of dollars that just flooded into the crypto market all at one time. So I quickly picked up my phone, and what I did was I looked at the USDT and the USDC dominance, and it was super, super down. So all in all, they just flooded all of those stable coins. All of that market cap of stable coins started just flooding into crypto real fast. And it happened after the stock market closed. So it is what it is, man. That's how this market works. There's a lot of stable coins ready to be deployed. They can be deployed at any moment. We're in crypto. You don't need to like call up a brokerage service and have 4 other people involved in order to buy $1 billion worth of a crypto in a single minute. All you got to do is tap a couple of buttons on a keyboard and you could make a huge order. So I'm assuming there was just lots of whale activity yesterday. It all just came in, and then the level that I saw Bitcoin hit around like 21,300 to 21,500 is about the level that we were talking about as an upside level, that if we start to break dailies above that, you would go on to the finality of the relief rally. Like that would be a huge signal. But one of the other things we talked about in the past couple of videos is how there was a level that was sitting around, I think it was about like 19,500 to 20,000. And if we started to solidify daily closes above that level, that would also be one of the triggers for the relief rally. But the issue that I have with what I just said is that one condition, the fact that this happened into a Friday close for the traditional markets. Two condition that I have an issue with is we saw right after the traditional markets closed, all of that volume come in, which was clearly from stable coins and whale activity. So again, kind of like a false signal. And 3, we're upcoming on a 3-day weekend for the traditional stock market, meaning that crypto is going to be trading alone all throughout Monday. And we still have this sort of like retail only environment. So you have to consider the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, CME, and you're going to have to consider what this market's going to look like on Tuesday when it opens back up. The fact that we had all of that liquidity get injected with the traditional market closed is fishy, okay? So I just want people to know that event that happened into last night's market close, it's not a convincing move. Even though we hit some of the technical levels that would signal relief, I'm still looking towards March, April, and potentially even early May for us to have the finality of the relief rally. And this could be somewhere between $33,000 to $45,000 Bitcoin. And we're only looking at a $20,000 Bitcoin right now. So that's clearly a lot more to go. In between now and then, we could absolutely have pullbacks. It's just important to be able to know what's going on in the market by having those quick insights like I just shared with you. How I'm hearing about these big liquidity injections. I'm quickly going over to the USDT and USDC dominance, and I'm getting my answers right there. So yeah, that should leave a lot of information so that we can move on to more important things in this live stream. And also tomorrow I will have my Red Pill podcast, which will be probably an hour. We'll see how long it goes. It's usually an hour and 10 minutes, hour, 20 minutes. And we're going to go over everything in the charts and really, really dive deep to what's happening. But it'll all be under the context of what I just shared with you moments ago. The fact that I don't like seeing a weekly close for the traditional market and then out of nowhere, billions of dollars getting injected into the crypto market in single 20-minute candles, and it all coming from fucking stable coins. That's just, it's a really, it doesn't convince me. So let's move on. That's great. We have about 400 people with us. Welcome. It's great. Great to have so many people popping in. Angelina's right. Said we need less lawns and more gardens. I love that. Amad asks, how are you doing, brother? I'm doing better every day. I love these Saturday live streams. It's so great to hang out with everyone. Talk about the real things in life. Paula enjoys the graphics. That's great to hear. Awakened Soul Crypto. Great to have you with us. People are commenting the thumbs up, but what I meant before was to actually leave a thumbs up on this live stream. So if you're just joining, go ahead, leave a thumbs up in the actual video, like it. Don't comment it. Just helps with the algorithm. It helps to know that you're getting clear visuals, good audio quality. Reich Leopold, how's it going, brother? Great to have you here with us. All right. We're just getting around to some questions and stuff, but I wanted to talk about this idea of a life sentence. Let's pause this and go to Bernie Madoff, because this is like what was inspired, what it inspired. Also, you notice how Bernie Madoff's birthday or death day is April 14th, the 144 date, and that was when Bitcoin hit its first all-time high in the cycle. Remember? So like it went up to like 63,000 or some shit exactly on that date. And then it had a huge pullback into May, the eclipse of May. And then it rose up again into Q4 and then hit its all-time high of 69,000 in November of 2021. But yeah, so this guy got like 158 years in prison. Oh, look at this. Got a 144 right there too. 14.4. This number is all over this guy, by the way. Like I was just having fun with it because I watched this Netflix documentary on him, which is fascinating, by the way. Absolutely fascinating. For anyone who only knows about the SEC because of what's going on with Ripple, oh my goodness. You don't even know. If you want to learn about how horrendous the SEC is at doing their job, go watch that Netflix documentary on Bernie Madoff. It will blow your mind. Oh yeah, here you go. So he gets 150 years in prison. So obviously a life sentence. Now, this was kind of coming back to a more spiritual concept, if you will. Kind of it's the building blocks for a more spiritual conversation. And let's consider the idea of you get dealt a shitty hand in life. You know, we hear that quite a bit. Like when somebody is just born into horrible family, their parents are drug addicts and just shit sucks, you know, don't have a lot of money. Things aren't going too well. And we say, you know, that person was just dealt a shitty hand and they have to deal with that. That scenario happens a lot. And I wonder, in their past life, if there is such thing. And of course, I'm not making any commitments right now. This is all theory. This is just me having fun with an idea. And me considering that the court system and the judges are doing rituals, magic ritual. Even the process of them like hitting the, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Judge, you know, like these guys. And they have their hammer and they strike their hammer down on this wood. This is all stuff that has to deal with Jupiter. Okay, so you have the wooden hammer or Thor's hammer. This is wood goes back to the oak tree, and the oak tree is symbolism for Jupiter. Striking the hammer like lightning. Anyways, and then a lot of the symbology you get with the scales, you know, that has everything to do with Libra. And the Libra is more like the divine feminine component of justice and law and all of the stuff that goes on in the court, whilst the divine masculine side of it would be Jupiter. Anyways, and there's also a lot of Saturnalian vibes going on with this as well, but they're just all children of Saturn anyways, so like father, like son. But this is all a ritual. This is all a ritual. that's going on here. And when they give you a life sentence, let's just say, you're 50 years old and you get 150 years in prison, and you die at 82, or let's just say you die at 80 for easy math. So it's like 50 minus 150. You're like going backwards now. So it's like in your next life, you'll have like 70 shitty years of life because you're still on the life sentence from the prior sentence that you got in your prior incarnation. Like, how fucked up is that? I think that's how this works. I think whatever Bernie Madoff like incarnates into in the next lifetime has to deal with that math that I just explained. And instead of being born, into like some Zionist, bloodline family of elites, he's going to be born into like, he's going to have to be like a cobalt miner somewhere in Africa. And he's going to be like a 6-year-old picking cacao pods off of trees with a machete. That's going to be his next life. And I'm not trying to say that life of that 6-year-old is horrible. Maybe they enjoy it. But just the difference that his soul has went through in this incarnation versus where it will go into the next one. It's going to feel some of that, carryover, as we all feel that we're bringing over some of that carryover. We talk a lot about how like wisdom is not something you obtain. Wisdom is from within you. It's always been there. It's something that we're sort of wiping away the amnesia. So I'm just playing on the theory here that maybe these life sentences that these judges give are real. So when they give you like 3 life sentences, they're straight up telling you that for your next 2 lives after the current incarnation, you're fucked. You're probably going to go back to jail in the next incarnation, and then you're going to go back to jail in the next incarnation. How wild would that be? If your whole, like, once you get caught up in this scam, in this system, this guy right here is God to you. Think about this. Like, if you got caught up in some shit and then you get 2 life sentences, the guy who did that to you is the actual God in your reality. The judge, the juror, the executioner. Crazy to think about. And I only thought about it from this Bernie Madoff guy because if you study what he did, he was going against his own people, man. I mean, he's Jewish, and I don't like throwing out that word loosely because I know people get like weird about it, but like, he was fucking over his own kind. He was literally like ruthless, bro. Like the only people that he didn't actually directly fuck over were like his 2 sons and his wife. But then ultimately, after he got caught for what he was doing, he ended up ruining all of their lives in the aftermath. So I mean, like when he was actively free and sovereign and doing this Ponzi scheme, he wasn't like a shitty person directly to his... I mean, he kind of was because he was keeping secrets, of course, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's not like he was like beating his wife or like, doing... Anyways, go watch it. Interesting documentary. I just think it was amazing. He was like in his 70s or something. He was like 70 years old and he got a 100 and... Let's see, because we could do the math real quick. I don't know when he went in jail, but he pleaded not guilty in 2009, so 21. So you got 12 years minus the 82. Oh, so he was 70. He was literally 70 on the nose. And then died after 12. I know I could do this math. I just like, there's so much going on in my mind right now. 138 years. So his whole next life is done for, dude. I'm sorry, bro. Like we're just having fun right now. Okay, let's get to some of the questions. If anyone's just jumping in here, we're talking about life sentences and how judges are working in a ritual, a magic ritual. Just the fact that we have court and we do all of this shit is proof that, like, none of us are sovereign. Also, how wild is it that there are celebrity judges? Like this lady, she's a celebrity. And people still take this system seriously. She's a professional Hollywood actor. She's a Hollywood actor, and people take this court system seriously. It's amazing. We're literally living in a clown world. Anyways, 150 people. Hope you're all doing incredible. Bella, hi, over in Mexico. We'll see. I would love to do some meetups in the future, maybe in England or Netherlands, or I don't know. We'll see. No, I am not in Florida. Oh, Reich Leopold, speaking of Romania, because you just brought that up, I don't want to talk about this too long because this guy keeps coming up and he's so popular, but I know Andrew Tate has his like compound in Romania, and he was like allegedly arrested a couple weeks ago, and he's the talk of the town all over the internet, probably one of the most popular human beings on earth right now. But just a couple of hours ago, Vice released they released some short doc on Andrew Tate, and I actually decided to check it out because I was interested to know a little bit more about this player character. And although Vice is it's just mainstream media by now, it's pretty much all it is. It's not like I'm taking it all as truth. I really don't know enough about this individual, and what I do know is the effect that he has on people. That's what I know. And that's because I've studied cults and I've studied religion at its core. I just know a lot about human behavior, and I know a lot of men especially are suffering from daddy trauma, and they have daddy issues, and they look up to a father figure. And this could be at any age. This could be going on until you're 60s, 70s, 80 years old. You can just be thirsty for that father figure, and that is where people like Andrew Tate come into play. Anyways, getting past that, I did just watch a little bit of that Vice documentary thing, and I didn't know that he like basically open hand slapped a woman on camera and then took off his belt and started hitting her with it. I've never seen that before in real video. I mean, like a movie, sure, but then allegedly the same girl that this happened to, she came out and started saying how it was an act, right? Now, I don't know about you, but this guy is not a normal, he's not a normal guy. He's a kickboxing world champion. So getting an open hand slap from a professional combat sports athlete is a lot different than an untrained simp. Now, if he was open hand slapping a man, it is also quite different than the fragile jaw structure of a female. And now the belt thing is a whole other conversation, because I guess there's no proof whether it was an act or not an act. Who the fuck knows? But based on the way he speaks and based on that and a couple of the women that have come, and again, a lot of these women that came out, who knows what truth is being, who knows? But all I know is that he has the money to pay them off, just like they have the ability to be cut from his payroll and then become jealous and then make up accusations. So I'm not picking any sides, but this guy seems like a really trash human being. Like, his whole mode of being seems pretty evident that it's very materialistic, egoic in a way that I don't understand how this is considered to be setting a good example. And if it is true that this is the way that he treats women, not only with his voice, but with his physical actions, then when it is proven that he's like this, that means all of his followers that are committing to him as this god, as this guru, are going to fall with him. And this is something I've been talking about for a long time, guys. It's not just Andrew Tate. It's just in general. When you fall for the cult of personality, what happens is when they lose, you lose too. And a big part of my work is to reveal this so that you could become more self-reliant, so that you could become your own guru. Believe in yourself and resonate with everything else. The problem is people lack the ability to access their intuition, so they can't resonate with anything, and they only believe outside of themselves. So while one person calls Jesus Christ their Lord and Savior, the other person is calling Andrew Tate their Lord and Savior. He's the father that you didn't know you needed, as some might say. So I think it's actually amazing, and it's important that player characters like this become part of the mainstream, because it helps those who have the eye to see what they lack on an individual level. These people are actually teachers of your own consciousness expansion, believe it or not, whether you know them or do not know them. You can't escape them because they've become household names. So a big thing that could help us all is, as you're in your expansion, as you're expanding consciously, how do you work with the prana that comes into your reality from the collective? How will you deal with people who worship these so-called prophets? And again, it's like a big dojo. You just get better and better and more refined as you go through the process, as you deal with those conversations. So at first you might hate these people. You might think they're causing problems. You might think that they're this, that, and the third. But ultimately what you're going to see is they serve a purpose for you in developing and refining your mode of being. Because everything that you don't like about somebody is something that could help you, and everything that you do like about somebody is something that could help you. You just need to know how to be the alchemist. You need to know how to deal with that energy, to not take it personally. Because what happens with the cult member is when their cult guru is being scrutinized, you as the cult member feel like it's a necessity to defend the leader. And this is what Andrew Tate has now. He has probably hundreds of millions of cult followers who feel the need to defend their daddy. Just like the whole world is trying to defend their so-called God, And people will put more love into these gods than they will their own fucking families. They will put more belief into their gurus than they will their own loved ones. So it speaks volumes about where we're at right now in this realm, where we're at as a species, and how it's probably been thousands of years of operating like this. And as the years go by, we know time's an illusion, but as this stuff perpetuates and time continues to move forward in whatever linear, illusory way that we can agree upon, we are just mining consciousness from all of this stuff, and it's developing a thicker skin. It's actually a part of your leveling up process. So I look at it as a beautiful and a necessary part. But anyways, speaking of Romania, I just thought that was pretty interesting that whole scandal is going down over there in Romania. Which to me sounds like a big, if anyone's just joining in and you're a little bit confused, sorry, rewind a little bit. But, I mean, maybe I'll go ahead and assume that bad economy in a lot of Eastern Europe, you have a shit economy. So a lot of people, they resort to doing gig work, and the type of gig work that you do in a place like Dubai is a lot different than in Romania, And this is just the way the world is. When you start looking at the gig work that goes on in Cambodia, it's going to be a lot of child trafficking. It's fucked up, but it's the truth. You look at the gig work that's going on in Edison, New Jersey, and it's people driving for Uber Eats. It's just a different reality. So no shade being thrown at Romania. I'm just curious as to why, out of all the places to build this compound and to have this harem of cam girls, that he would pick that country. It sounds like it's to exploit it. It's to exploit it for maybe it's corrupt. Maybe there's some corruption in the military that he was able to pay off. Maybe there was some corruption going on in the law enforcement that he was able to pay off. But it sounds very slimy. And I don't know about you, I think it undoes all the so-called good that an individual can do. If we find out that somebody, although, yeah, maybe they were speaking some truth about the Matrix, if they were raping women, then who gives a fuck what truth they spoke on? Right? Doesn't it just undo, kind of everything else? I mean, who would do that to a woman? 1 second, family. Sorry, family. That was Andrew Tate's lawyer who was just calling me, telling me that a Black Hawk helicopter is gonna show up in a little bit, and they're gonna take me away. I'm sorry, guys. I loved you a lot. I still do love you. This might be the last live stream I ever do. No, I'm just fucking with you. You can't harm somebody who doesn't even live on Earth. Come get me, bro. You're going to have to get outside of the firmament. Not even Elon Musk could do that. You can't harm love. So let's get back on that vibe, family. Let's get back on the love. It's important. And honestly, the only reason I really spoke about what I was speaking about a little bit ago is because I know that documentary just dropped, and I know a lot of people ask me about this guy. So I just wanted to share that, get it out of the way, and here we are. We're moving on. Bart Bruno, much love. Hope you're doing amazing. I know Bart Bruno and Mr. Jansen are leaders in our Netherlands Wolfpack community. Kalai, hope you're doing amazing. Kevin, I really appreciate your super chat. Hope you're doing amazing, brother. It's really, really generous. I appreciate your support. Kevin says, OG Wolf here. That's facts. You've been here since the start, brother. You said, been in the background with a busy lifestyle lately, but I just wanted to say I love this family and definitely looking forward to an incredible future and growth. We love that, man. That positivity is welcome. And it's just amazing to see you're still here hanging out with us. Kind of pretty much almost 2 years now. So shout out to you and your family, and I hope you're doing amazing. Green-eyed girl said, do you really believe in reincarnation? No, I don't. I'm just having fun with the concept. Oh, wow. It seems like people weren't too happy with what I was saying about the courts and the life sentences. Northern Yeti said, how are you going to pretend you invented the concept of karma? Is that what I did? I don't believe, it's not that I believe or I do not. It's just, it was an idea I shared. This is wild to hear how reactive people got to what I was saying about the life sentences and Bernie Madoff. I thought people would have been open-minded by it. Like, I thought people would have responded to it in a way that was like thought-provoking. Whatever. It's all good. I never said I believed in any of that. I said that it was a theory. Holy wow, that's so funny. People are very interesting. I guess I know how much fun I could have with people. And when it starts to hurt their stomach. Decode, great to have you here with us, brother. Green-Eyed Girl says, do you think yoga and the 8 limbs are like a cult? Well, I don't know what the 8 limbs are, but yoga in and of itself as a practice, it's just a practice. And you as the individual get to determine how you want to like be a part of the communities that form based off the practice of yoga. Now, are there communities that are based off of yoga that are cult-like? Absolutely. But the yoga practice itself, of course not. It's just a practice. But like all things, there's a cult behind it, you know, it just is what it is. You can't stop it. It will be naturally. But Green-Eyed Girl, I think a great example of a cult-like community that formed from yoga would be the Bikram yoga. Now, again, initially it wasn't off the rails. It just... the adoration for Bikram grew and grew and grew to the point where he was able to leverage on his power to take advantage of these girls, and they looked up to him, so they were like, sure. And it took them time to break that spell that he cast under them. See, this is the thing, guys, is once somebody achieves fame and celebrity and status, they can leverage on that status to take advantage of people. And it's magic. It's like a magic trick. So... I'm talking about this guy. And I'm not trying to say that Bikram yoga is the form of yoga. Doing hot yoga is not a cult. That can't be. It's just a practice. But this fucking guy, he's a cult leader. Because he was feeding off of his celebrity and his status to take advantage of people. He was feeding off of it because he needed the prana. Like a narcissist needs prana. Because their ego is so fucking damaged. It's like a we talked about this before. When the cult leader has a very damaged ego, it's almost like a gas tank with a bunch of holes punched in the gas tank. So when you put gasoline in this gas tank, which we'll call the gasoline prana or life force energy, this life force energy, when it goes into a damaged gas tank, it's just going to spill out of all the holes. So they consistently need adoration and worship in order to continue to be at their level. And they know that because they have this status and this fame, they're able to, and they have another thing, guys, they have money. So when they use this so-called power to leverage on to take advantage of people, whether it's sexually or manipulating them, brainwashing them, whatever, well, they also know that they can get away with it because they're powerful. They could pay off people to keep quiet, to keep secrets. And this guy got caught up in a bunch of this shit. And yes, what he was doing initially helped a lot of people. Like it gave them back life and flexibility and the ability to actually, some people were unable to walk until they found Bikram yoga. But that's always how these things work. You have a positive aspect of it, and then you have the belief mechanism. All I'm telling people is go do Bikram yoga. Just don't kiss the feet of Bikram. Stop doing that shit. Go listen to Andrew Tate. Take away the teachings that resonate with you, but stop fucking kissing the guy's feet because you don't know him. He doesn't pay your bills. He doesn't show up sitting next to your couch when you're crying, holding you and telling you things are going to be okay. Some people will bypass being real with their mothers, fathers, children, girlfriend, everyone to escape from the real fucking people in their life to go kiss Bikram's feet. That's what I'm trying to expose. You can still take the yoga and it could be life-changing. Just leave the feet kissing, for the collective. You guys are bigger than that. Big boys and girls. The belief technology can really consume people. And I'm not here to just oust the player. I'm actually talking on the consumer level. Like, is it really Bikram's fault? Or is it the millions and millions of people blindly admiring the individual as if they were God in the flesh? It always comes back to the individual. See, the narcissist leader, they have no ability to tap into their own life force energy. They used to at one point, and then they got used to that level, and then they leveled up again, and then they leveled up again, and then they kept leveling up to the point where there was zero fulfillment. And that's a slippery slope. And we all have to deal with that, by the way. I deal with that at some levels. Plenty of people that I communicate with have dealt with that in one facet of life, whether that's being an employee and you get sick and tired of being an employee and kissing the feet of your boss. And if that's the mechanism that propels you forward to making your own business, then don't you see the beautiful part of it all? That's all I'm trying to say. It's not inherently bad or evil. You just have to learn from it. Got Yumi from the Philippines with us. Vicky, McLean, there's a lot of people from Australia here for sure. There's a lot of Aussie wolves. Heidi Locke, I appreciate you. Narina, great to have you here with us. Oh, Brad asks, when do you talk with Bearable Bull? Bearable Bull wants to communicate with me, I think, next Tuesday. Yeah, he's going to interview me next Wednesday. I don't know all the details, though. But he reached out to me on a phone call, and I spoke with him, and I'm interested. I'm interested to see what questions he's going to ask me. You guys know me. I'm going to be real, man. The same version you get of me on a YouTube video, on a live stream, on a podcast, on a one-on-one phone call. The people who talk with me on a one-on-one phone call, they know. They know my energy. I'm the same wolf, and that's who I'll be during that Bearable Bull interview. But I got to speak with him. He's a very, one of the things that I could say about him is that he keeps busy. He's a businessman. And I definitely admire that. Because even though he's doing his crypto thing and he's doing the YouTube channel thing, he's not fucking lazy. So I admire that. But I don't know him. So I only know the one phone call I had. But me and him were able to talk a little bit about business. Okay, I'm just looking through some of your guys' questions now. Monica Esoterica, hope you're doing well. Reich Leopold says, Romania has very beautiful women. All right. So it's a good reason for me to visit, right, Reich? It's funny. Yeah, we'll get into the Super Bowl. Like, let's just wait till the end of the month, and we'll go over that stuff more. But for now, there's no point. Got 500 people in with us. I hope you're doing amazing. Wishing you all a beautiful weekend, for real. Okay, I'm just getting to the point where I had to pause for a second to take that phone call. And I'm seeing your guys' comments. You guys are funny. Monica Esoterica. Yeah, man, I'm just not a big fan of all this like woke culture, red pill dating shit. Like, I'm no one to talk because I know that I'm really spicy in my live streams, but I think what I have to share about the polarities between the masculine and the feminine is balanced, it's sensible, it's not trying to push one overpowering the other. I look at it all as perpetual balance, but I do understand that we play different roles in those polarities. I am not a woman, so I only know what I've been able to, extract from the wisdom of women who are operating in their divine feminine. So when they're around me and they're speaking their truth, I'm listening, and that's the way I roll. But Andrew Tate, he just seems like the kind of guy that like wants a woman who's operating in her polarity, like her real divine masculine polarity, he would just shut her up. He doesn't have any time of the day to listen to that mess. And it's pretty obvious, So I don't know, man. I think that that's what that agenda is pushing. That whole psyop behind the Tate brothers and this red pill dating and a lot of it's really actually to push this idea that men need to like overpower the woman, as opposed to, I think there needs to be a teamwork going on here. But I completely understand that I have my polarity as a man, she has her polarity as a woman, and we need to work with that energy. We need to work with our field of energy. But I can't fucking overpower you, or else where's the team? Where's the effort? And then if I'm with this woman and we're like, what if children are part of the conversation and the child is being created in that environment where it's just this masculine overpowering energy? Nah, man, the world already has enough of that sick shit. Why do you think we're all fighting wars and controlling borders and have a crazy monetary system? This is the psychopathy of a very weak ego in the masculine polarity. If men would work towards fixing their egos and honoring them more and getting more back into their polarity, but doing it in a fashion that isn't trying to compete or beat other men or beat other women. And what I mean by beat, I mean in the competitive fashion. Life isn't a fucking game, guys. Life is play. When we start to play, when men start to play with their women, that's where you'll see the world change. But what's going on now is men want to beat their women. And I'm not talking about domestic abuse. I'm talking about literally like this competition. And the feminism psyop was to push women out of their divine feminine polarity to push them towards competing. So it's fucking everything up. And that's why when an Andrew Tate comes along, he has just enough to fill the gap of like a missing part for a lot of men, but he's doing it in a way that's in a super extreme, format. And it removes the sense of teamwork. And that's what I'm all about. In all ways, there's going to be a natural leader of the tribe. But if that leader is able to actually work with the energy of their community, it will be a way different outcome for the community than a leader who's taking advantage and manipulating his community because that leader has a damaged ego and they need to fill up their life force with external prana from people believing in them, when in reality that leader should just feel fulfilled by the state and condition of the community's sense of being. Is everyone taken care of? Do we have enough food? Are we safe? Will we make it through the winter? Are our women happy? Are our men able to have enough energy to take care of what we got to take care of for today's tasks, etc.? That's what we need to be focusing on. So the feminism psyop is bullshit, but also this red pill dating fucking Andrew Tate masculine nonsense, that it's also bullshit. And that's what's sexy to most people. It's those extremes. It's never that middle path. Haramau player, I appreciate your super chat. 1 second. I gotta go back and find this. I don't know if it's gonna show up. One second, family. Oh, okay. So, Haramau player, I really appreciate your super chat. You said, teach us your method to detect jackals from photos. So, it's actually a little bit difficult in photography. It's much easier with videos. But one of the number one things is you can tell by looking at their teeth, and you could tell by looking at their eyes, and also just their skin is kind of like a little bit rubbery looking, you know, like kind of just looks off. But one of the number one things is the teeth. So the jackal has double layered teeth, and they have very sharp teeth sitting behind the first layer of teeth. And when you look at the first layer of teeth, a lot of them have lots of gaps. They have gaps in their teeth. And as they get older, they naturally lose those front teeth. So they look really noticeable. When they're younger, it's really hard to detect. But we were showing this with like what's the dude that was the leader of, what was that multi-level marketing scheme? Herbalife. One of the guys who was like a leader of this was clearly a jackal. Clearly. It's not Marco Hughes. It's not this guy Johnson. It was another guy, man. It's so hard to find this guy's name. But a very popular guy would be this Macron guy. This guy's a jackal. And remember, all this shit that's going to pop up in these Google images are going to be what they want you to see. So you're going to have to go out of your way to find some really good videos that are coming from like people's iPhones, if they could get that close. Oh, there you go. You see the teeth, they're like all spaced out. We'll find pictures of this guy with like perfect teeth, and then we'll find other pictures where it's like, nope, there's something going on here. So because his teeth are so spaced out, when he's talking, sometimes you can see the second layer that are behind it start to pop up. Like he's not like a lizard. And that's kind of the jackal thing that I was exposing. These guys aren't actually shape-shifting and turning into fucking reptiles. They stay in this form, but they do start to phase shift. So when they're on camera and things like that, you'll see glitches in the camera. All of the Bush family, they're all jackals. But yeah, you just got to go out of your way to look up some pictures, some videos. I mean, Daniel Leo, hope you're having a beautiful weekend, brother. Ehab XRP asks if I have Twitter, and I do. I just made one a couple weeks ago. You could check it out. It's right here at WatersAbove, spelt a little bit weird. People still think that this is a scam account. And like, how many live streams and YouTube videos and like, and of course I'm not talking to you, Ehab, but like, I've gotten people that have reached out to me and they're like, this account is a scam account. I'm like, I'm directly telling you what I'm directly telling you that this is my account. What do you mean? What am I, scamming myself? Like, what the fuck? I didn't even need to make this Twitter. I didn't want to make a Twitter or an Instagram. The only reason I made those accounts was to prevent people from getting scammed. And this other guy, this WatersAbove guy, he blocked me. Look, all I wanted was a kiss. All I wanted was to ask WatersAbove YouTube if he will go out on it, if whatever it is, will buy me 2 coffees, as Andrew Tate says. Make me 2 coffees. I need both W and A to make me a coffee. And I'm going to drink one, and then the second one, I'm going to pour on his head. And then, yeah, I got blocked by my own Agent Smith. How ironic. Anyways, we're just having fun right now. But yeah, this is my real account. And I honestly, I just made it because I wanted to prevent people getting scammed, because there was not only just that one account that I showed you a moment ago, there's like 5 of them and they keep getting taken down. But for some reason, that one that I just showed you a moment ago isn't getting taken down. So I'm trying my best, guys. And I will be posting some red pills here and there. I have this awesome video that I posted yesterday of these wolves going mad. Yeah. Anyways, got 500 people. I hope you're all doing amazing. Kate Bishop, hope you're doing well. Adalia, hope you're doing well. Regan said Bikram is old news. I know, but I'm just sharing something that's happened at one time that continues to happen today. The same thing that happened with Bikram is happening today with Andrew Tate. And when Andrew Tate becomes old news, there'll be another person that fills that spot. And if I could expose what I'm exposing as now in the present moment, it's going to allow us to see a little clearer, so that when these individuals pop up on the mainstream, you'll be able to remember instantly that, oh, this person is by design being planted by the apex predator to become famous at this exact moment to fulfill this agenda. They are just a world wrestling entertainment character. That's all they are. Andrew Tate is Ric Flair. And when Ric Flair is in the ring, he's told what his contract tells him that he has to do. So there we are. There's Logan Paul. There's his brother. There's Joe Rogan. There's Jordan Peterson. There's Sam Harris. There's Anthony Fauci, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Andrew Tate, you name it. Kanye West. This guy's mean mugging. Who do you think this guy is? He has a grimace on. This is the Liver King. The whole show. The whole staff. Hired, contracted PSYOP lords. Rebecca Carrington, hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I'm just reading some questions. Jacob E., in response to your question, yes, something like that. Basically, the thing, Jacob, when we say your question starts out like this: so is it of your opinion to leave the profane to their own devices? So here's what it is. When it's the winter time, we don't have the same amount of sunlight. We don't have the same amount of, sorry. 1 second, guys. Okay, excuse me. So when it's the winter time and we're looking at the garden that once had beautiful flowers in it from the spring, if we were to walk up to the garden during the winter time, and even though we could imagine what those flowers looked like in the spring, we walked up to that same garden and started screaming at the ground, saying, "Why can't you just look the way that you looked in the springtime, garden?" And we were getting super aggressive with the ground. Basically trying to scream at flowers to tell them to grow, even though it's not the season. This is like what it's like to talk to people who are of the collective with these thoughts that we're sharing today. See, what's different about you guys is you have the access to your imagination and you have access to these powers. So what happens is you're able to cycle through this so-called reality and interchange parts of other seasons and interlock them to work for you instead of the other way around, where you're getting worked literally. Like when you start to learn what you're capable of doing, when you start to unlock your superpowers, you're no longer a product of your environment. You're able to leverage on your environment to make it work for you. But what happens is too many people who are so-called illumined or initiated or woke or whatever fucking term people use, I don't even know. Enlightened, I guess. So-called enlightened people are walking around in the wintertime and screaming at people's gardens, telling them to, why aren't your flowers growing? Like they aren't ready yet. It's just not the season. Like you're operating in all 4 seasons at once, fam. You guys are like, and you know what? The thing that you feel, I think we need to talk about this. This is really important. Okay. When one of you, these so-called beings that operate in all 4 seasons simultaneously, when you start to feel like it's only the wintertime and shit's getting dark and shit's getting scary and you're uncertain, you're unsure. I know some of you could feel it right now. When you start to have that settle into you, I want you to remind you of what I just told you. You have this ability to access the summer, the spring, all of it, whenever you want. That's your imagination. And your imagination is what takes you to focused action. And without the focused action, you're not doing shit. So it's easy to get lost in the darkness. It's easy to get lost in the so-called depression because the depression has no motivation or inspiration for you to take action. That's why when people get depressed, they don't do anything. They just want to lay in bed all day. You feel what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to actually, this is a very, very useful concept. This has a lot of utility. See, you wear the crown of wisdom. This crown is not sexy. This crown is literally the crown of thorns. Every single one of you, 500 people listening right now, and there's going to be 7,000 to 10,000 people who listen to this transmission. There might even be up to 15,000. Every single fucking one of you. You wear a crown of thorns. That's the crown of wisdom. This shit digs into your head. You have blood dripping down your fucking forehead, going into your eyes right now. It sucks sometimes. I get it. To be enlightened to things that very few people even have the bandwidth or capacity to fathom. So of course it's easy for you to get sucked into this vortex and get into the darkness and feel depressed or feel like shit's not working out or feel like life sucks or feel like there's no opportunity or this or that or this or that. But ultimately, it's because you're allowing yourself to succumb to something that the collective actually has no control over. But you do. You're conscious. All of these experiences that somehow seem like they're shitty are opportunities for you to mine that consciousness so that you can utilize it. You can transmute this energy. You can literally convert that darkness into light. And if anything, the darkness is there because it is a palette for the light. It is a palette for the color. Just like when your TV is shut off, it's a black screen. And then you put the power button on, and now all this light shines through it. Don't forget that you have access to that fucking power button. When you're depressed, it's just keeping the television screen turned off. But then once you turn it on, you have access to infinite imagination. I know it's not easy because there's this process of detachment. You have to detach from the lack. You have to detach from the outcome. You have to access this presence. And it ain't easy. Because when you become present and you utilize what I just told you, being all 4 seasons at once, then you become very powerful. And sometimes when beings access this level of power, this vibrational frequency, when they access this so-called creative essence, and they're able to do it on their own prana, not needing to take advantage or beat people in order to, meaning they don't need to bring other people down so they can rise. When you do what I just said in that format, you're going to start to levitate. And when you start to levitate, it's going to feel fucking weird. You're going to be like, why am I floating right now? What the fuck? What's going on? Why does this feel like this? What's happening? This is too good to be true. This is too good to be true. You're going to start to fucking short circuit because you're not used to it. And then you're going to self-sabotage. And then after you self-sabotage, you're going to have to go revisit how you got to levitation. And it's going to be a new art form for you. You know what I'm calling this? It's something that's been spoken about forever. It's called the flow state. I'm not making anything up. This isn't waters above, my creation. This is something that's always been there. Just delivering it in a new format. The format for the ones who have access to infinite consciousness or remember what they are, which is infinite consciousness. You are infinite consciousness. So every time you decide to keep that television turned off is like you trying to turn off life. Now go outside in the fucking garden, and in the dead of the winter, you're still going to see life shooting up through the snow. You're going to see areas of the grass that still want to just continue to be. They're going to still grow. You're going to see little flowers, shoots sticking out. Because you cannot pause life. You just need to get better at identifying the life when you feel the void of life. And remember, you don't have a life. It's not something you have. You are life. You are an extension of nature. That's a huge reason why they're trying to get everyone trapped into this digital realm because they want you to forget the basics. Because these are not advanced concepts, guys. This is a very basic concept. We just forget about it sometimes. We forget about it often. It's easy to forget about. So it's really just a concept. It's a constant reminder. It's a constant reminder of what am I? How am I dealing with this present moment? Am I trying to leave it too often to go to the outcome, to go to the future, even though that doesn't exist? Or am I spending a lot of time lingering in the past? Am I doing that too much? Be fucking real with yourself right now. It's okay. Like, it's okay to be vulnerable. If anything, the number one mechanism you can utilize to tap into your own actualized potential. So let me say this. I'll say this very slow. The one mechanism that will allow you to tap into your actualized potential is vulnerability. Because vulnerability is the key ingredient in unconditional love. If you're unable to be vulnerable, it's going to be hard. And you get to be the one who controls how vulnerable you would like to be. Most people just are really controlling it. And you need to fix this in your real life, not in your fucking online presence. Fuck your vulnerability online. It's irrelevant. I'm talking about in real life. This is why a lot of people have a hard time in real life, is because they spend way too much time tidying up their online image. Tidying up. What picture am I going to put on my Instagram? How am I going to, does this look good? What filter should I use? Should I post it at this time? It's fucking wild. All of that is so wild, but it's because we rather maintain and maintenance. We rather care more about how we're perceived online than how we are in real fucking life. We give more energy to that. And then when we're in real life with real people, we fucking struggle with them because we never want to be vulnerable. On internet land, we're able to kind of just smooth it all out to be this thing. And it's the thing that we think people want to see. And it leads to this new age that we're in now, where men are just lost and women are getting infinite artificial prana just because. The effort that's being put in is too much from one polarity and it's too little from the other polarity. And the reason why is because the weak polarity is feeding into the one that's getting the artificial prana. Weak men who have yet to find purpose because they're waiting for daddy to give them their purpose, aka Andrew Tate. These damaged souls are waiting around for daddy. And then at the same time, they're trying to overpower their women in the process to balance out the playing field. It's fucking psychopathy. It's not how this works, fam. So before they find daddy, the weak men are feeding into that infinite prana stream into women. The women are not going to become more divine until the men become stronger. If men would stop thinking with their penises, this whole world would change tomorrow. I'm just being real here. There's a Morrissey lyric that's so fucking perfect that fits into what I'm talking about, by the way. I need to remember it. It's so good. Let me think about this, fam, because it's a really good. Some lyric. Yeah. So it's this song. It's called Such a Little Thing Makes Such a Big Difference. Let's read these lyrics. Let me make sure that I'm not missing any super chats. And if anyone sent any super chats, I appreciate y'all. Okay. So, in typical Morrissey fashion, these lyrics are not advanced. They're very basic. They're basic, but truth bombs. He says, such a little thing, but the difference it made was grave. There you go, wielding a bicycle chain. Oh, why won't you change? So he's basically talking about like a machismo, like kind of, you know, like basically like an Andrew Tate character, like somebody that needs to be like the gang leader to get that sense of power. And he said, why won't you change and be nicer? Such a little thing, a gentle tone of kindness or written words on paper. Can you write? Like he's making fun. This is a flex. Morrissey's making a flex. He's like, you fucking bonehead. Can you even write? It's so good. And he says it in a way where you wouldn't even catch it. It's amazing. And he says, how I love all of the very simple things of life, God's good air, how I love all of the very simple things of life, such a little thing, a fumbling politeness, the difference it saved me, wielding a bicycle chain, I will not change and I will not be nice. So this is like the, you know, narcissist, egotistical. And then he said, most people keep their brains between their legs. So good. Leave me alone. I was only singing. Leave me alone because I was only singing. Leave me alone. I was only singing. You have just proved again. Most people keep their brains between their legs. It's on one of the greatest albums of all time, Bonadrag. This fucking album is so good. I love this music video for Interesting Drug. It's like a bunch of kids letting bunny rabbits out of a laboratory. I love this. The first time I heard this song was when I was feeling pretty down in life about a situation. And when he said that there's a... Yeah, he said in the seaside town that they forgot to bomb. It just made me laugh. Like it was like you know, when you're feeling sad, but then something makes you laugh. Like something comes around that's cute or something, and it just makes you start laughing so hard that you almost start crying. It was like one of those moments. This band, Morrissey and his, not only the Smiths, but just all of this changed my life in a very interesting way. This is one of the best guitar lines ever in this song too, Bengali and Platforms. If anyone likes simple but effective guitar lines, that's the track. All right, I'm getting back to some of these questions from the fam. Decode. Yep. I shared a picture over on our Discord of Marilyn Monroe with her 2 layers of teeth. Bella, I'm not sure what you mean by, is this something you believe or are you just playing? Are you talking about the jackal thing? No, it's definitely something that it's definitely something I am heavily leaning into. Is a very big, it's plausible that they used the reptilian agenda and the promotion of that part of David Icke's work to perpetuate a cover-up for what these beings really are, which is a human body that does have a skin layer on top of it, like some sort of artificial skin layer. And their eyes and their teeth reveal everything about what they actually are. And they do drink blood. They do eat people. They do a lot of the textbook shit that you learned about from like the David Icke work and a lot of the stuff that goes on with that so-called reptilian agenda. I'm just saying that like there's another layer to it. The thing about them shape-shifting and becoming these like 10 feet tall lizard people, that I do not believe. And that is part of that reptilian agenda. I am seeing it that they are just, they've had their consciousness transferred into these vessels and they look just like us, but there's little signs that give away that they do not have the same, they do not derive from the same bloodline as us. And I think it's a really big reason why they're caught up in that like hermaphroditic agenda. Like all these big A-list celebrities that make it to the top in Hollywood, in sports, in most entertainment, they're born hermaphrodite. And they get selected to be these like Justin Bieber and these types, you know? So I think that's a big reason because it comes back to their creative essence. It's like they can't create the same way we do. I don't think they could give birth the same way we do. I don't think that they could, like, they just operate in a completely different fashion, you know? Sorry, I'm just looking at some questions now. Bella Love, I appreciate you. Don Scotto brought up something about Twitter. Yeah, by the way, guys, I don't know anything about Twitter. I'm just getting used to it. It's been a couple weeks. Lori S. said you left out Alex Jones. That's funny. It's moon time, diamond hands. I'm talking about their consciousness, man. I'm talking about their player character. You guys are so funny. Oh, okay. I have something to share that I think might summarize the idea of the jackal conversation. Okay, so those of you that are confused about jackals, just think of it like this. Think about the movie Lost Boys, okay, with the vampires. If you guys haven't seen Lost Boys, amazing. So, like, you know, the head vampire in the Lost Boys looks like a normal guy. Like, this guy. So this guy is also this guy, all right? And when we see these so-called elites, apex predators, whatever you want to call them, whenever you see them, they look like this, but then they become this. They keep most of their form. It's just their teeth start to change. This is exactly what I've been trying to explain about jackals for so long, and I don't know why it just took me to thinking about vampires, because that's all they are. Their fucking eyes start to change, their teeth starts to change, their skin starts to change. They get rashy looking, like red skin. Vampires are real, man. They're fucking real. And they don't mess around with the daytime. That's why when you see like Queen Elizabeth, whenever she would be outside, she'd be wearing super long gloves, long sleeve shirt. It's like her whole body is being covered from the sunlight. She can't deal with that. They don't tan. They cannot tan. But Think about the psyop that I'm trying to expose here with lizards. What do lizards absolutely love? Deserts and sun exposure. You know, they do burrow underground for sure. But lizards are found in places that are desert. Like you go through Arizona, go through California, Texas, etc. You go through any desert area is where you're going to see a shit ton of crazy snakes, lizards. It's the antithesis of what these so-called apex predators are. Like, why do you think they're all in London? Why do you think they're all in Switzerland, these fucking apex predators? Why do you think they're all in Regina, Canada? Because why do you think the real royalty lives in Sweden and Norway and Denmark? Why? And the Netherlands. Why? You guys don't see it? Does anyone, I know you feel what I'm saying right now. The reason that all the real royalty lives in those places is because they need that overcast, little sun exposure, foggy, fucking cold. They need it because they're fucking vampires. They live in caves. They don't deal with sunlight. This is not a reptile. This is not a lizard. So I'm just calling them jackals because I heard the concept be shared somewhere one time. And it was in context to something that was very, similar to the reptile conversation. But I think what I'm showing you right now, like this Lost Boys movie, is a good way of describing it exoterically without confusing people. So I hope that helps everyone. I hope it makes more sense now. Dunce Gato asks me, what is your favorite day of the week? I don't have one. I don't really care too much about time. I just take it every day as it is, It's kind of my energy. I'm not a big fan of getting too caught up in my favorite day or favorite year. It hasn't been healthy for me in my life. My flow state has been trying to be as present as possible. Well, when I said that the crown of wisdom is not sexy, I was talking about in the perspective of the collective. If it was sexy, it would be like a woman who has a filter on that makes her ass look big on an Instagram picture, and then everyone would want it. The problem is the crown of wisdom requires a fuck ton of effort, and when you get it and you put it on, it's painful. It's literally the opposite of sexy. But it's beautiful because it's real. It's truth. And to me, it's sexy, but I'm talking about from the collective's perspective. So maybe that needed clarity, but I assume that everyone would know what I meant by that. But at first, this leap of faith into truth and individualism and the willingness to share where you stand without the agreeability and without the desire for popularity and the desire to be agreed with by everyone. Yeah, That doesn't satiate most people's thirst. What most people in this world want is to be worshipped and understood. And as you get deeper into philosophy, you start to see that the most advanced thinkers, the reason there's so much loneliness there is because they can't relate to anyone. It becomes a really lonely path. The middle path is a very lonely path. And you have to be okay with that. And you will become okay with that. Everyone will. But everyone's at a different stage in their journey. And everyone has a different desire. You know, some people do desire to have more influence over others. Celebrity, fame. They want to be known. And as I've said, maybe the first time I ever said it was on a podcast that I did with Logan. I said that I don't want to be known. I want to be the knowing. I'm okay with no one knowing how I look. I could wake up every day of my life without that. I'm okay with people not getting attached on to the avatar character that comes along. I know the power that that avatar could have. I'm well aware of it. I'm not stupid. I've done this before in different formats. And now I'm very, very true to myself. And in that, I know exactly what I want out of this. And I'm doing it on a daily basis. And I'm okay with that. The same way that I know it's not popular for me to say a lot of the things that I say. A lot of the shit that I say, especially on these live streams, is not sexy to people. Because it's exposing a dark layer that a lot of people decide to hide from. And those demons are not actually demons, guys. That darkness is not actually darkness. It's a beautiful part of you. We just by default hide from it because it's part of that default programming language that came along with the indoctrination system. The indoctrination system and this thing we call society has re-scripted the programming language to making everyone feel that uncomfortability is a bad thing and that being comfortable should be praised. Listen to really hear what I'm saying right now. Like really take this in. The indoctrination system in society has taught everyone that being uncomfortable is wrong and that being comfortable is virtuous. And I'm here to say it's the opposite. I'm here to say that for you, comfortability is where you're going to have a mundane, monotonous existence and you're going to be thirsty for life. And existence and life are not the same things. On the contrary, everything that feels uncomfortable is what will change you. It's what will make you a better version of yourself. It's what will make you a better man. It's what will make you a better woman. It's what will make you more godly. It's what will make you more of a goddess. It is what will unlock your divinity. The discomfort is it's a necessity for you to achieve your beingness, just the state of being able to be without the need for identity or the need for external validation. See, the thing that comes with comfort is you're always validated. You're always, you could do anything you want to do. Without being real, without being honest. That level of delusion, it might be necessary because some people can use it as fuel, but most are not equipped with the ability to transmute lying to themselves to actually make their dreams come true. All it does is perpetuates a dream. And you know what happens when the dream is over? You wake up. And the only person that can change your life is you. And the only way to change your life is for you to change your life. So when you have somebody that's exposing one of the simple forms of doing such in a simplified manner, it's not always going to feel pleasant. It might make your stomach hurt. And I'm aware of that because I've lived my whole life making people's stomach hurt because I revealed the truth. And the reason I would reveal the truth is because I have unconditional love. And the reason why most people operate under conditional love is because they're too fucking scared to share the unconditional truth. Because it feels more comfortable to lie. And it makes other people feel more comfortable to be lied to. So not only does the truth sound crazy, but it is what hurts because it makes you uncomfortable. And for those of you that are able to tap into truth and utilize it, you'll notice how it's the exact thing that fuels your expansion. It's like when you're a baby and you have teeth growing in and the baby is teething and it needs the pacifier, and you could keep giving it the pacifier forever and ever and ever, but all that pacifier is doing is preventing it from getting used to this dramatic physiological change. One day you're going to have to pull the pacifier out. And the problem with humanity right now is we have 7 to 8 billion people that are walking around at 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 fucking years old, and they still want a fucking pacifier. You know what that pacifier is for most people? It's their government. It's their police. It's their God. It's their religion. That's their fucking pacifier. And when you take that out of their mouth, they start to crumble. They start to shiver. They feel fucking uncomfortable because you took away the nipple. These are just man babies who walk around always wanting nipple. All government is a big nipple. And one day, you're going to have to fucking grow up. So you wanted spice. Here it is. But taking off your own shackles is sometimes the hardest and scariest decision of your life. Taking the pacifier out of your own mouth and letting those teeth grow in the same way this crown of thorns is going to rip into your fucking scalp. It's the same pain, guys. But on the other side of that, that's freedom. The snake needs to eat its own tail. Nobody's going to do it for you. The only thing that other people can do for you is give you a fucking pacifier. It's up to you to take it out of your own mouth and to be great. No one will ever take that out of your mouth because this whole system we call society operates to maintain the pacifier in 8 billion mouths so that we could continue to get taxed, continue to fucking believe that government is good, continue to believe that God will save us, to continue to think that law enforcement is necessary, to continue to think that we should get married and sign contracts with the government between us and the people we love. All of this psychopathy. All of that exists because human adults like pacifiers. This is probably the realest shit I've ever said. And now I've met 15-year-olds that have broken free from that system that I just explained. So it doesn't matter what age you are. It matters how willing you are to actually be free. This is why I say a lot of the times that when people ask me like what my experience was like of expanding my consciousness, I tell them that I learned how to waterboard myself. Literally. You need to drown yourself spiritually, consciously, in whatever way you want to imagine. It is super uncomfortable. But you're simulating drowning. You're not actually drowning. And at first, you're going to feel panic. You're going to be shocked. But once you get used to it, once you get used to the truth, the light no longer blinds you the way it used to blind you. When you want to stop being the victim, that's when you take the pacifier out of your mouth. When you want to stop looking at the elites as if they're forcing things upon you or controlling you or the reason why you're in a prison planet or whatever the fuck theory. All of that stuff, you're going to have to work on it and work on it and work on it and work on it. It's going to be so uncomfortable. I'm just getting some questions real quick. I have a little bit more time with you guys. Daily Juice, I appreciate your super chat. You said how to access the flow state consistently. You have to find something that you feel present while you're doing it. For a lot of people, it could be yoga, it could be meditation, it could be going on hikes, it could be communicating with another person, it could be playing music, it could be dancing, it could be cooking food, it could be washing dishes. Now, when you get into that flow state, you need to know how to utilize that state. And that is a perfect opportunity for you to access your creative essence. Believe it or not, I come up with my most creative ideas when I'm taking a shower. So I love showers now. For some reason, when I'm in there, I don't have the phone and the computer and all the other shit going on in my crazy schedule that I have. It's just me and the water. And I could zone out. And a lot of my expansion mastermind course, like the profound ideas, were unlocked while I was taking showers. And I would like run out of the shower and go to like a notepad and write down the idea and just be like, yes, that's so sick. Let me build on that more later. Another thing that helps a lot with accessing flow state for me is playing music. So I'm a guitar player. I play quite often. It's my form of meditation. You just need to know what thing gets you to feel present and to not be so caught up in yesterday and tomorrow or outcomes. Like when musicians make music, a lot of the time they're doing it for the outcome. They're making the music because they want other people to like the song. That's not pure essence. That's not your real self. That's your ego. But when you start playing the music to just get into that state of being, to access this present moment, that is where you're going to feel amazing. That is where you're no longer in the outcome and you're in the process. And this could be anywhere. I'm not trying to sell anyone short of something you like to do. That's why I said it could be washing dishes. It could be you taking out the trash. It could even be the guy that is mowing his lawn. Like what we were talking about at the beginning of this live stream. Maybe that's the way that person accesses the flow state, and good on them. If that's that's beautiful. right? But we just have to be cautious. Are we doing it to escape and numb ourselves, or are we doing it because it allows us to access this present moment and to unlock a creative essence? Because I don't want people to get confused. You can spend your whole day on your ass playing fucking Xbox and, you know, with your Cheeto dust fingertips, like fucking doing nothing. That's not the flow state. Is it inspiring you to take action and actually create? That's all that needs to be answered. Now, could you play video games and unlock your flow state and use that to perpetuate and motivate and inspire you to take action somewhere? Of course. There's video game designers. So I'm not trying to isolate. This is the problem with like a lot of this talk is so many people, they want clear answers, but it's really just how you operate. And the idea of mastery is being able to have many tools that you could utilize that access the same pranic, ability. And the speed at which you access it, by the way, how you expedite this process is all in your ability to let go of yesterday and tomorrow or the outcome, to just be more fixed, in the present moment. Another thing that's great is exercise. Exercise forces you to being present a lot of the time, especially if you lift weights. Because you're sitting there with heavy ass fucking weight. You don't have the opportunity to, think about your taxes. So I just think that there's ways that you could really get, ice baths. That seems to be huge. Sensory deprivation tanks. That seems to be huge. Just don't turn this stuff into a crutch. And that's really where we need to clearly delineate this idea of flow state, because way too many people, they're wasting a lot of their time when they could be investing their time. And it's up to you. Some people would heavily disagree with this idea. I'm okay with that. I think it's fair to say that two separate people could do something that most people would both agree that is wasting time, like playing video games. And a moment ago, I just said that the video games for one particular individual could motivate them and inspire them to take action. It's on the being. It's never on the group. It's never on the specific activity. It's just what the individual makes it. So I hope that's a holistic answer. And I hope that allows you to have some utility in the idea. Jodine, I appreciate you. Jacob E., when you said immortals, ? Yes. But the way that they're immortal isn't in that particular vessel. The way they're immortal is because they consciousness transfer from one host body to another host body, and they keep doing this over and over and over again. They have the technology to do this. Mr. Jansen, thank you for sharing your quotes. I'm sure a lot of people appreciate it. Somebody asked about the benefits of the sun on bare skin. Why are we told to stay out of the sun? Well, you're told to stay out of the sun because it's a marketing gimmick. It's a marketing thing. They want to sell you on the products that come along with the whole sun scam narrative, like suntan lotion and SPF, whatever the fuck, and wearing sunglasses and taking vitamin D pills. There's a huge business behind that. The pharmaceutical industry is in cahoots with the industry that is pushing all the suntan lotions and all the stuff that has to deal with protecting your epidermis from sun exposure, etc. A lot of the business is tied to the skin cancer industry. And we've exposed that vitamin D is a scam. It's not a vitamin, it's a hormonal reaction. And the idea behind skin contact with the sun, or the sun and the skin, is not as important actually as the sun getting into your iris. The sun actually needs to go directly into your eyes. So take off the glasses, take off the sunglasses, and allow yourself to get natural sunlight in your eyes as much as you can. But one of the best times to do it is right when you wake up. Another great thing would be to take a walk during the sunset. So if you can have a schedule where you get the sunrise and the sunset, and I mean, for most people, if you're getting up to see the sunrise, it would be a very early time. So it'd be the first thing you're looking at anyway. If you can have more of that light in your life and less of the artificial light that's coming in from computer screens and your cell phone, then your circadian rhythm is going to be super, tailored to you having more balanced hormonal reactions. And these hormonal reactions that I'm talking about that are going on internally are going to be way more beneficial for your gut microbiota and just your whole sense of being. Your attitude will start to change. Your behaviors will start to change. So this vitamin D scam that I'm talking about, you cannot create the feelings and the change in behavioral mechanisms and hormonal reactions and what the sun and the whole spectrum of light that the sun is giving off. You can't mimic that in a fucking pill in a plastic bottle. It's just impossible. It's a whole different slew of hormonal reactions that you're getting. So one is just a pill that you're swallowing. It's going through your digestive system and you're pissing out a majority of these crushed up rocks. And the other is a whole spectrum of light that's actually going into your body and changing you physiologically. I know this might be a little advanced, but it's because I have way more expertise in what I'm talking on now than a lot of the stuff that I speak on actually. I do talk about it a lot actually in my expansion mastermind course. So if you're interested in more stuff about health and wellness, you could check that out. Chapter 7 is called Heal Thyself, and it's dedicated to a lot of things regarding what I just spoke on, but also like how to properly consume, like change the way that you're consuming. Inna Ash, I appreciate your super chat. You said, shout out to all the stomach hurters. Love, resonate, and appreciate your presence, Jordan. I'm grateful for these lives. They sure center me for the entire week ahead. I really appreciate you, Inna. I hope you're having a beautiful weekend, and really means a lot to me to have your support. I appreciate you, and I hope you're doing well. I know you're doing well. I appreciate when people look forward to these live streams. It really means so much to me. DJ Stock 02, appreciate you. I'll drink some water. Jessica says, have you heard of Gravoti numbers? No, I have not. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Let's look it up. I'm typing exactly what you wrote, by the way. So I'm not seeing anything show up. Maybe there was a typo, but you could always retype it in the chat, and if I see it later, I'll chime in, because you might have meant to say something that I am aware of. But no, I don't know what Gravoti numbers are. Unless it's a band or something. I don't know. I'm always excited, though, when I read something that I'm unaware of, something to remember. It's gravy. Much love. Hansa, you said, I completely agree with your life ethos, Jordan. Can you live within the matrix but be completely detached from it? So Hansa, my thing is, let's stop trying to detach and let's start reattaching back onto what this idea of the matrix is, because you are the matrix. Like literally, you are the matrix. It's not outside of you. I think I spoke about this on a couple of live streams. The word matrix comes from matris, which means womb. It's the matrix is the mother's womb. That is what we're all delivered from. So we are it. It is us. It's like how we're perceiving right now through the central nervous system. It's like school. I don't think we need to detach from this idea called the matrix. I think we need to reattach to life itself. So think about your question. You said, can you live within the matrix but be completely detached from it? What I'm saying is that you are the matrix, and the thing that we've already decided to be detached from is life. When we realize that we are the simulation, we are the simulacrum, then now we can regain access to our power, which is to be, to live, to be life itself. So Hansa, I know that might be like flipping the idea on its head from the way that it's delivered a majority of the time, but that is what resonates with me most. That is my truth. And that is what has given me the power back, that way of looking at things. What it's also done simultaneously is it's reduced the power of the so-called elite. The elite have no power over me. I don't think that they're supreme. I don't even like calling them elite. I think we're elite in comparison. They're a bunch of frail fucking vampires, you know? Like you can literally punch one of them in the clavicle and probably break their clavicle without even any effort. These people are bony. They're all fucking like falling apart. These like Rothschilds and shit. Like look at these. Homie's skull is not a human skull. Like, look at George Soros. Like, these people don't have power. It's an illusion of power that we give them. We elect it to them because we don't want to take the fucking pacifier out of our mouths. But this idea of being the matrix, it's not that you're detached or attached to or none of that. It's that you are it. This concept has allowed me in my process to actually become more empowered and to look at these individuals like they're pond scum. Like when you need to clean your toilet bowl at the end of the month, this guy is what you're cleaning off the side of your dirty toilet bowl. You're literally scrubbing this guy's existence back into the clean water, and then you flush it. Like Henry Kissinger is just toilet scum. He has zero power. And I'm not making fun of these guys, although it might sound like I am. I'm just telling you how I realize what they are in my reality. In my so-called reality tunnel, Hillary Clinton has no power. She's like pencil shavings. All right, family. I do need to head out soon. I really appreciate y'all. I'm going to hang around for like 5 more minutes just to finish up any other questions I see popping out to me. Just looking through some final things. Do. Oh man, we could have went a lot longer today, but I just have stuff that I gotta take care of. XX Madman, I appreciate you investing in my course. That really means a lot to me. Much love. Keep it real. Appreciate you. Cameo Donaron said, what about Uwe? Yes. So that is definitely a practice that could be adopted. Absolutely. You said the idea that there is no self. One of the things that I would say, Cameo Donaron, is that's helped me understand Wu Wei is like the difference between rowing a boat and sailing. You know? Kind of to allow the process of nature instead of wanting to control it all. And that control mechanism is a big part of the human experience because we think of everything based in linear time. Like there was a past and there will be a future. So we get caught up on wanting to control so that we could alter whatever the process is to land in the outcome that we desire, as opposed to the idea of sailing where we're working with Mother Nature and her winds, we're working with the current of the seas, and we have the physiological component of the sails and the boat and all the other mechanisms that are going on here. We're just the sailor. We're the one who has the gnosis of how to work with the nature, how to work with the boat that we have, how to work with the construction of the sails, but then we also know where we need to go. We have to steer the ship in the direction that gets us to our destination. We know how to do it. We're just doing it in a way that is more allowing and more based in the process as opposed to controlling and desiring of outcomes. What I teach is very, very similar to this, Cameo Donaron. Like what I teach is the idea that you want to script your outcome and then fall in love with the process. And then I give all of my strategy for how to be present, but whilst you're present, how to unlock flow state and how to focus on, taking focused actions, investing your time rather than paying attention. You invest your attention, these kind of ideas. And it's very multifaceted, but it's simple. It's simple. It's easily digestible by most people. And I think that's why anyone who gets my expansion mastermind course is expediting their process with it, because it's not so woo-woo, it's not so wild and complicated. And it doesn't require this immense amount of, educational background necessarily. But yeah, Wu Wei and that idea and that philosophy, it's something I learned about a really long time ago. And I always revisit some of the concepts and brush up on it. And I forgot who initially, where a lot of that philosophy was formed through. Was it Lao Tzu, I think? Lao Tzu is like not a real person. It's just a collective of wisdom. Anyways. CM. CM has been throwing shade the whole live stream, but you're still with us to the end. You were here from the beginning and you're still here to the end. So you know who loves me the most? It's you. You fucking love me. You're obsessed with me, dog. Because if you hated me and you didn't enjoy me, you wouldn't be here for 3 hours trolling. But you love me. And that's okay. You could admit that. And you're sitting here trying to make fun of other people who are sharing constructive comments and ideas. It's hilarious. Like, it's people's insecurities are really show up when they feel that there's a heightened prana in the room. Like when there's a titan in the room, they shrink down. And I'm not trying to shrink people. I'm trying to bring out the titan in everyone. I'm not trying to rip people down so that I could rise. You're sitting here in the comment section trying to rip people down, but you've been here for 3 hours. Like, that's a big investment of your weekend, homie. It's just amazing. I love people. People expose themselves. It's great. All right, family, I have to go. I really appreciate y'all. It's all love. I'm wishing y'all a beautiful, beautiful rest of your weekend. I will be coming out with the Red Pill podcast tomorrow, probably a little bit earlier than this time right now. Really looking forward to getting a little bit into how I'm perceiving this market. I'm going to let it chill out for the rest of the night. I'm going to stay away from the charts so that when I get into the Red Pill podcast tomorrow, it's unbiased and no emotions in it, just really raw technical analysis as usual. We'll be getting into a lot of different altcoins, of course, because the community over on my Patreon votes for the altcoins. So I'm very interested to revisit some of the altcoin market, to dive into some of the theory behind how this possible market opening could be on Tuesday when the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and the traditional markets open back up after the 3-day weekend. So we'll be getting into all of that on tomorrow's podcast. Again, it's over at patreon.com/WatersAbove. If you wanted to join the mastermind community, you not only get access to tomorrow's podcast, but all of my past Red Pill podcasts. And I just came out with the Year of the Rabbit Decoded, Chinese New Year, which is going to be next week. So getting that decode in advance, you could kind of go through that material, take notes, and catch yourself up on how I'm perceiving the month of February through April and May. So kind of setting up the community, setting up the family with how I'm forecasting the next half a year to go. So I appreciate every single one of you. I'm wishing you all a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I do got to go.